So you mentioned earlier talking about standards. I think one of the hardest things for students to grasp is what is the standard. Now, obviously, just to throw out textbooks, we got Nancy Caroline, Brady, we have all these different publishers, Sanders, and they think that they have the national standard. But as we both know, standards are constantly changing and these books don't constantly change, right? So what would you guys as a national registry tell students? Hey, if you're looking for standards, what would you recommend?
Any textbook that's written to the National EMS Education Standards is appropriate. Now, from our perspective, the primary reference point for us is the practice analysis. And the practice analysis is the driving force to help us determine the test specifications, what percentage of questions are on the exam that are airway, cardiology, resuscitation, et cetera. So we use our practice analysis. And the practice analysis is derived from we look at two things: frequency and criticality. How often skills and encounters are, and how critical they are for the EMS clinician. And that practice analysis takes us about a year to build, but it gives us that roadmap as to what we need to test. Now, in terms of content validity and how we validate it, we have varying tables of authority that are referenced so that we know where to go to and what to reference on the examination. Certainly, the American Heart Association guidelines, they change frequently, so our examination is updated to reflect the current guidelines.
Question on that before you move on. You say that the American Heart Association does update their standards. What if, or guidelines rather, what if a student is learning 2020 guidelines in their textbook, and then all of a sudden 2025 hits, the new standards get updated? When does a national registry implement those new standards versus waiting until textbooks catch up? Or is the student still going to be answering, or would the national registry put answers on their questions, the old guidelines and the new guidelines to see?
Yeah, we would never, if there's a significant change, we would never set the students up for confusion and failure. And also we put out there and say these are written to this year's standards, so that way there's very absolute clarity as to what the student will be tested or the candidate will receive on the examination. Furthermore, it takes us a while to actually go through our bank. We have tens of thousands of items and make sure that old referenced items are removed and or updated. If there is a medication that is in vogue now and a year from now is not, we will immediately, we'll take immediate action to mask those items and pull them out of the pool. We don't want to set the students up for failure nor for confusion. So if there's controversy with an item or if there's a significant change, we make sure that we give plenty of notice and make sure that the candidates have full visibility as to what they're tested on.